Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. I'm Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson.
I'm Shannon Penrod, and we've already got guests in the studio.
And we've got giggles going.
We do have giggles. When you put the
Do only girls
together.
giggle, Matt?
No, well, boys giggle too.
They do.
He giggles. He giggles like
we
a
have to work
schoolgirl.
hard to make it happen. But so we're here with Ed Asner and Navah Paskowitz. You know, we like to bring you a segment called Autism Family Portraits, and we asked them to be here because they're two of our favorite people. They're really autism royalty.
I call them the first family of autism.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Thank you.
What a dubious extinction,
And
right?
I, of course, refer to you guys as the Brady Bunch
Yeah.
of
Yes.
autism,
Which
which you
you've been
sometimes
written up
refer to
as,
as
yeah.
yourselves.
Yeah.
Because you're currently very happily married, but this is not the first go-round for either one of you.
No?
Blended family.
Yeah.
Blended family, 6 kids total, and half of them have diagnoses on the
Exactly.
on the
Well, they
spectrum.
all have something. I mean, even ADHD. I have ADHD for sure.
And I do
Really?
too.
Yeah. And his ADD was in
Yours
full
was bad
regalia.
at breakfast this
Yeah,
morning.
he
Mine was bad. It was
Yeah.
full-fledged this
It
morning.
was.
Did you
I was
forget
like,
to take your
Matt?
meds again?
And Nava was like, Matt.
Forgot.
So anyway, but it's not just your immediate family, your
No.
kids. You're part of really an entertainment family
Yeah.
dynasty as well. Your father, of course, is the famous, infamous, one of my favorite people, Ed Asner, the one
Yes.
and only.
That's correct.
For those of you that are under the age of 30, which I find it shocking that anybody wouldn't know who Ed Asner
No,
is.
everybody does.
Well, it's easy. I have a formula for it.
Okay, what is it?
So if you're over 30,
Yeah.
you say Mary Tyler Moore
Right.
or Lou Grant.
Okay.
Or that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Lou Grant. Hello.
Lou Grant.
Yeah.
And then if they're under 30, you say Elf or Up.
Yeah.
And-
Or
and-
Toy Story. I mean,
or-
no, Up,
Yeah,
not Toy
Elf or
Story.
Up.
Elf or
and
Up.
that basically does
Covers
it. Covers the
Okay,
whole base.
that
Absolutely.
covers so yeah, because
But-
he really runs the gamut of
Exactly.
But Nava
life
has
experience.
a very famous dad as well,
Yes.
Doc Paskowitz.
Yes.
And your whole family was under a lot of press scrutiny, and they have had a lot of coverage as well. So both of you had families that were in the public eye.
Yes.
Nava's father was a world-renowned surfer, fitness expert, doctor. She had a very unconventional upbringing on a bus, was it?
A VW.
Yeah. I mean, my
Camper?
dad was
Camper?
Stanford-educated, and he gave it all up and threw us all in a camper, and we traveled around the world.
And how many siblings?
I have 8 brothers. My brother Israel started Surfers Healing.
Yes.
But in our family, both of our
Combined families, how many
we
people
have a
on the
lot of
spectrum?
people. A
What do
lot
you
of
think?
people.
Did you add it up?
Well, technically...
7 in my family.
Yeah.
And how many in yours?
4?
That's a lot.
4, I think.
So you've got your,
Lot.
Matt, you've got a brother
I have a brother, a nephew, and
and
a
a
son.
son.
Yeah.
And, okay, so...
And 2 of my
nephews?
I have 4 children. So when we got married
Right.
with Matt's 2, we have 6.
Right.
And my 2 middle boys, or my 2 youngest, one is high functioning Asperger's. The youngest has autism.
And then you've got nephews with autism
I have nephews, and 2 of my brothers I would consider
on the spectrum.
definitely.
Okay.
They didn't speak till they were 5 years old.
So, okay.
And my dad always says that, it's not autism, it's Asnerism. 'Cause he has a preoccupation with the self,
Right,
So,
right.
and we
you
always
should.
say that he's definitely on the spectrum as well.
Right. Okay.
And in fact, you have so much going on in your family that a short documentary was made about, and we have a short clip to show a scene from that. So Samantha, roll that scene for us.
Got cleavage.
You have to be the most patient human being on earth to have a special needs child. Each one of the kids has some deficit in learning. So we have some of the kids with severe ADHD, and then some of them with real, true autism. But each one of my kids has a little taste of something.
Jed, I'm a teenager. I don't want to get looked at by you.
And Matt's as well. Both of his children are on the spectrum. When I met Matt, I had 4 kids. He had 2. It was literally probably the first month we were together that somebody said, "You guys are the Brady Bunch of autism." I mean, it's crazy. And that stuck. It really stuck. There's different levels, and we have literally one of each.
there are many beautiful things about autism, many, many beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous things about autism. But the very stark reality is that it's going to put some massive hurdles in front of the development of your child. And that is something that is not beautiful.
You say you've gotten letters from around the world, people feedback
Absolutely.
about how real you were there. How
Yeah, I
authentic.
mean, we were going through one of the hardest times of our life, and the chaos was just everywhere, and the walk was next week, and
Autism Speaks Walk.
the autism walk, and
We might want to say that Matt was, up until just very recently,
Yes.
you were with Autism Speaks.
I was.
Yes.
And now I'm with a different organization. I'm with Autism Society now. I'm proudly their
Of
vice
America.
president of development. And I'm really excited and looking forward to some really fun things with them. And
Okay.
I think it's great. A great organization.
Right.
I'm
Okay,
thrilled to be
and
there.
we'll get back to your point about where you were when this was being done. And also, Navah, we should point out that you have an extensive background in working with individuals and families on the spectrum.
I've seen so much support for the children
Right.
over the years, and I was a single mom with 4 kids, and I saw so many of my friends and myself just falling apart. Anxiety, all these issues that we had
Substance
because
addiction.
we didn't have mental health support
Yeah.
for us.
Right, right.
So my passion has been being a life coach and doing these mindfully based support groups for moms and dads, and now the typical siblings.
And very exciting, you are actually in development right now
Yes,
on a
with
project
my
with
father-in-law.
your father-in-law called the Ed Asner Family Center.
Asner
Yes,
Family
sir.
Center.
And we'll have a very exciting announcement at
It's
some
coming up.
point.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's
There will
coming
have
up.
to be back on this show to make that
You're
announcement.
definitely going to have to come
It'll
back
be
on.
very
That's
exciting.
It's all in development, and the Ed
And we
Asner
can
Family
help
Centers
so
are going to
many
be
more families.
really a holistic approach
Yes.
to all the families as well as the kids and the young adults. So we're going to really look forward to when
Arts-based.
that becomes a
But
reality.
Let's take a quick minute to just talk about challenges
Yes,
that you
you
guys
said
have had over
you
the
were-
years. What for each one of you? What do you think the biggest challenge has been over the years? Not necessarily right now, but over the years.
I mean, we've both lived as single parents with kids. For me, it was fear. You get trapped in the fear of the tantrum. Eddie was little when I went through my divorce, really little, and I have anxiety disorder, and I just was trapped in the fear of. Should I take him someplace? I'll be honest and say I used to go through the drive-through to get milk at McDonald's because I was so afraid to take him into Ralph's.
When we got together, we were friends for a long time before we got together.
Yeah.
And when we got together, I realized she was literally afraid to take him out to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so that had to change because I like restaurants.
That's delicious food.
I do. So we ventured out. And I think
Same.
I think today Nava's able to go anywhere. Which is great.
Think a huge 75% of Eddie's, and that's a huge thing for me to say, 75% of Eddie's growing up and socially blossoming was because Matt took him out of his comfort zone. And here I'm, just the helicopter mom. And he said, no, we're going to do this. Sometimes he would rip Eddie and say, I'm taking Eddie by myself. You stay here. You're too nervous. And Eddie is just an incredible...
Can we clone you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
I know my feeling about that, by the way, my feeling about that is I feel that immersion is the best thing to do to any child. And if you don't have a child out in life, in baseball games, perfect example of that. We went to a baseball game. We had an awareness night. We went to a baseball game.
With Shannon.
And it was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. The first
Loud.
10, 20 minutes, really, really hard.
Yeah.
But about 20 minutes into the game, there was a switch that went off, and he was like, oh, I like this. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then you, as a parent, you kind of look, I was looking around, and I'm thinking, okay, we're under an overhang which is concrete and reverberates and it accentuates sound. And so I said, well, we're going to steal some seats down a little further down outside. And it was much different and much more calming. And we would retreat down and then up and then down.
But there was that moment that you had to make a decision, because I had that wild look in my eye, and I'm like, we have to get out of here. We got to go.
Dead dog.
We all know that feeling.
He looked at me and he's like, 5 more minutes, just keep, and each time I would have my flip out, he would kind of like get through that flip out, and on the other side was Eddie really enjoying himself. So it was really like a very pinnacle moment in our...
Well, and I think actually that's a great analogy for us as parents is I think a lot of what we do as autism parents reflects on who we are as people. And it's our fears and it's our hopes and it's our... And I think at some point, and I think we've both done this, I think, really well, is we have to let go of what our hopes are and kind of look at each individual child and say, what are their hopes? What are their hopes? I mean, you know, it's kind of difficult in some cases, but it's important. It's important, I think, to kind of let go of what your fears are and your hopes are, and just kind of really look at what's going on with them.
And I know we've only got a minute more, but maybe you guys could talk a little bit about
Well,
the
that's
challenge.
if we decide to do it. We could do more, right?
Only a minute
We
more.
have a
We could
great
push a little
guest
bit.
that's coming up after you guys. And
Larry
we don't
won't
want to
mind.
make him.
He's fine.
It's not Larry. It's Sam Tripoli, the comic.
Oh,
that's
Sam
coming.
Tripoli. I'm
Yeah,
not going to
so-
screw with Sam Tripoli.
Right, exactly.
I'm sorry.
Because he looks fierce.
Okay.
But maybe if you could talk a little bit about, you mentioned earlier before we came on, there's a challenge that you guys are being faced
facing,
with
yeah.
right now.
We're
Yeah.
desperate. The Brady Bunch of Autism is desperate to find another caregiver. We have, we've both, Matt's obviously working full time, and I'm going back to work full time, and we're in desperate need of somebody. And it's very hard for me to trust somebody, so I want to find somebody that is a good match.
I think I might have an answer for you.
Well, that's
Hopefully.
good, and that's hard. You know, I mean,
It's so hard.
It's difficult. I think you have to really trust the people that you work with,
For sure.
and you're like leaving someone responsible for your child that, you know.
Can't explain to you if something goes wrong.
And there have been movies made about that, right?
Yeah.
A couple of them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Couple
a
of
couple
them.
of them.
Yes.
Right. But-
Tragic.
Well, maybe if there are any viewers out there that are hearing this, you
Yes,
might want to
please.
write us. And like I said, I have some ideas for you guys. So,
Great.
all right. So we could go on for how many hours? I mean, let's
We
face
could.
it. We could just
Yes.
keep going. We could sit here all day.
Yes.
Should we
but-
mess with Sam Tripoli a little?
No.
I wanna mess with him a
fierce
little
to
bit.
me.
He looks pretty fierce.
He's
Yeah,
a little edgy,
I wouldn't
think.
mess with Sam. All right, so we're gonna let you go. Please
Great.
give your father a kiss
I
from his
will.
girlfriend, his favorite
Yes.
fan.
I will.
And tell him I can't wait to see him so he can tell me I have spunk.
I'm sure he's puckering up right now.
Okay, and we're gonna have you back soon.
Great.
Yes.
Right?
Thank
Okay.
We want to be back
Thank
soon.
you.
We're going to announce our big thing.
We
Yes.
are.
Well, actually, Nava's big thing, not
Yeah,
my big
yeah,
thing.
yeah. But you're part of it.
I'm a part of
Yeah,
it.
you're a part of it.
I'm inherently a part of it.
You are. Yeah. All right.
Genetically.
Genetically.
So
Thank you guys so
Thank you
much
guys.
for giving everybody so much hope and for, you know, I mean, there's so many things that you guys do in this community, but also the fact that people watching can see that even if it hasn't worked out before, you can still find love
second chances.
when you're
or third
dealing
or
with
fourth.
spectrum issues.
Yes, you can find love.
You can. They are so happy that we
I
always
want
say
you guys
that,
to do a class on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
They
never
are,
know.
We
They-
did. We did a marital
Yeah, we did.
workshop.
Because
you
you know,
never know, it
like I
could
said to
continue.
Shannon, oh yeah, you know, because now I'm a widow.
yes,
I'm in the
it's
class.
coming
Okay,
for
we
you.
gotta
Oh
go.
my
But
God.
okay, we're out of time. We're gonna talk forever.
Anyway, we always say that be around these two for very long and your blood sugar will go up because they are so happy. It's a compliment.
Oh, it's sickening.
All right, we're going to take a break, and as we go to break, the first thing we're going to show you is another promo for the show that they did, and we will put on our Facebook the link so that you guys can find your way to watch that entire show because it's very inspirational. Take a look. When
we'll
we
be
come back, we're back
with
with
more
Sam
laughs.
Tripoli,
More fun
stand-up comic.
and games.
Stick with us.
Okay. So,
There are many beautiful things about autism, many, many beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous things about autism. But the very stark reality is that it's going to put some massive hurdles in front of the development of your child. And that is something that is not beautiful.